Good afternoon and welcome to this special edition of Kolt TV. This is a special project that me and the members of Kolt TV have put together, and it has to do with the heritage of Haysville. First of all, the year 1986 is what year we are in now. And also, a lot of good things happened in 1986, along with Pioneer Days and the Fall Festival. Mayor Huddleston was the mayor at this time, and he was a very important asset to our community. Now we're going to go to the mayor at the municipal building in Haysville, where he will stand by the time on Haysville in the city building with Mayor Huddleston, and I'm Jeff Graves, and we're getting ready to go into the city council meeting. First of all, Mayor, can you tell us a little bit about the time capsule that's standing behind you?
In 1977, when we built the new city building, we also designed a time capsule. You can see there's 4 capsules here. The first one was been opened in 1986. That was the 10-year period. That was opened this summer. So now we're getting ready after the Christmas parade to load it. It'll be open after the year of 2000. And the others will be open in 2001, 2026, and 2076. So you see it'll be quite a few years span here that we're going to have.
What kind of documents are put in these time capsules?
Well, we can't tell you what was put in the original. The last was put in pictures and things that happened the year the city building was built. And that was opened, and these things will be on display at the library building. They have been here in the city building for the last several months, but we just boxed them up the other day. We'll move them to the library.
Okay, can you maybe tell us a little bit about this, standing behind me?
This was a grant, an outright grant from the federal government, which the city of Haysville received with the help of Bob Doe back in 1976. And about 1977, we got the building underway. We also got enough money to build a new maintenance barn, which you've probably all seen, and which was an improvement over the old barn. And this building is so designed that later on, as we need it, we can build an upper story. And it looks like we're running out of room now, and maybe in the near future we can build an upper story.
Okay, we're getting ready now to go into the city council meeting. Can you tell us a little bit about what goes on in there?
Council meeting, we discuss different things that come up that people have complained about, what we can do about them. We pay the bills. We decide some of the issues that's come up from time to time and try to work with the citizens to get this accomplished.
Okay, well, good luck. And now we're going into the city council meeting.
Ted, before you start, tonight I'd like to thank you ministers of the Ministerial Alliances for coming down here on meeting nights, giving the invocation. I know it takes time away from your busy schedule, and I don't think anybody's ever taken the time to recognize you. So tonight, on behalf of the council, I would like to thank you for your services.
I'll relay that on to
Thank you.
Thank you. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come this evening to give thoughts to our community, the place where we raise our families, the place we call home. Be with these councilmen and the mayor as they make decisions concerning Haysville. And be with us all as we, each one, try to make Haysville even a better place in which to be a part of, a place to be proud of, a place that will continue to be our home and for future generations to come. Go with us in this special time of Thanksgiving, Father, and may your safety abide with our residents, and may your love be upon this community, now and forever, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Now, before we start the meeting tonight, I'd like to introduce all the councilmen. First, we have, on my left, far left, we have Bruce Armstrong from Ward 1. Next, we have Pauline Osmond, council lady from Ward 2. Next, Vern Leopold, councilperson from Ward 3. Next, Jack Harris, councilman Ward 4. Next, William Parker, Councilman Ward 1. Next, and he's absent tonight, is Larry Emerson, Ward 2. Then Wendell Corbett, Ward 3. Carol Macbeth, Council Lady from Ward 4. And myself, Mayor Huddleston. Now we have Ray Simmons, our legal counsel. And on my right, Dee Dee Cole. She takes all the minutes to the meetings.
Good afternoon, welcome to Kolt TV. I'm Jeff Graves, and along with Cindy Zimmerman, and today our honored guest is Mr. Marvin Huddleston, Mayor of Haysville. First of all, Mr. Huddleston, how long have you been mayor? I'm
serving now my 6th term. My first term was 1 year on the council, and the second year as mayor. I finished an unexpired term for John Trout when he resigned.
Okay, with everything that is involved in being mayor, what made you want to become mayor?
I think the big thing in my life has been to see Haysville grow and grow in an orderly fashion, and to upgrade the living conditions for the people in Haysville. And these are the things that I've worked very hard with in my years as service for the city.
Mr. Huddleston, you work with a group of people who help you to get a few things accomplished. They're known as the City Council. Would you like to tell us a little bit about the members of the City Council and what some of their roles are?
Yes, we have 8 members of the City Council, and we have 2 on the Finance Committee, 2 on the Police Committee, the Library Committee, and the General. And the General is the committee that helps me and the City Clerk. The Police Commissioners work very closely with the Chief of Police, and of course the Finance Committee checks everything, that all the big items that we buy, and sees if we have enough money, how we're going to pay for these things. And it's an important committee.
Okay, does the City Council usually meet on a weekly basis or monthly, or about how often do the meetings take place?
No, the City Council meets twice a month, and maybe we have what we call a special meeting. If something important comes up that can't wait till the regular meeting night, well, we'll call a special meeting and act on it at that time.
Okay, would you like to tell us maybe what goes on at an average City Council meeting?
Well, the average City Council meeting, we open the meeting and ask for people to tell us what their concerns, and if nobody shows up for that, well, we go on down the agenda from everything that might deal with the city, and each one of the city officers gets to make a report, and we decide then any items that has been held over or has come before the council before, well, we decide on them. We very seldom take anything the first night and decide on it, because we take it and study it, and any mail that I get or any information I get through the 2 weeks, I have copies made and give to the council, so that we call this council concerns, and they know what's taking place pretty much between meetings then. And this shortens our meeting night from what they used to have 4 and 5 hours. They've cut it down to around an hour meeting. And we also pay the first half and second half bills each month.
Mr. Huddleston, I can't stress enough how important the role of devotion is to a mayor. Can you tell us, how do you feel a mayor should be devoted to the city?
Well, in the first place, the mayor's big job is to listen to the citizens. And sometimes you don't see eye to eye with them on what they have to say, but still you've got to be a good listener. Listen to the people and take their concerns in stride, and then report back to the council, and also give them a feeling that they have been heard, and that you're not turning them off, you're not pushing them away, and that you will try to work with them to get their problem solved.
Okay, do you feel the mayor should take charge himself, or you think the city should be run by a group of people or the city council?
No, I think very much the council and the mayor together should have the operation of the city, because without the input from the council, the mayor is nothing. Let's face it. You have to work with the council, and you've all got, well, I said you got to be in agreement. You don't have to be in agreement, but majority rules, and you have to go this way. And this is what we tried to do, and we tried to keep our feelings down to a minimum. If I don't agree, I don't go out and make an issue about it. And if the council, some of the councilmen don't agree with what the majority does, well, we still go this way. And the majority rules, and we keep our mouth shut and go on. And I think, to me, this is the best working council in my 6 years. They keep informed, they come to meetings, they have their input, and we go back in the executive session, discuss things, come out and do it. And to me, this is what it takes to run any organization.
Mr. Huddleston, you spoke of the importance of a mayor to listen to the citizens in the town and not always agree with them, but at least listen to the people. You've been in office for quite a while now, and you're getting to know the people of Haysville. After listening to them, do you feel that the citizens of Haysville are ready for a more progressive city hall, or perhaps maybe a more reserved and laid-back administration for the city of Haysville?
Well, when you talk about progressive, I think in the years that I've served as mayor, I've never seen so many people that I have in the last 2 years start taking an active part in the city of Haysville and its affairs and how they operate and what they do, and they're all interested. They're interested in the growth of the city, and I think within the last 2 years we've, as the fellow says, we've grown up and we're going to be a city. Because before we had too many people that they had an attitude that they didn't care. It was a bedroom community and we're just going to sleep here, and why? But now we have people that are interested in the growth of the city. We have people that are taking an active part in, through the organizations, which we'll stress in a few minutes. These are the things that I think you're going to see a more progressive city, because the citizens are taking hold and they're taking over some of the things that the city council and the mayor don't have time to do. They couldn't do if they had time. And it takes a group and the people all working together to get these things done.
That's very true. Okay, suppose an issue comes up and you're ready to move on it, and the city council is having a hard time, getting majority to rule on one thing or another. They're kind of undecided about the issue. How do you go about encouraging the city council to act on an issue, to persuade them? How do you go about that?
Well, the first thing when an issue comes up that maybe somebody's got something to say and they don't want to say it right out in the open. So I generally call for or ask for an executive session. We go in the back room and let our hair down and discuss it pro and con and say what we think and what we've got on our mind. And after this is done, then we decide more or less whether we have enough people for or enough people against. And this is the way you should do it. You shouldn't sit out there and fuss in front of the public and everybody else and have people saying, well, this council was not for this, that council was not for that. But get back there and decide what you're going to do. Talk it out, and so everybody knows. And try to do what you think is best for the majority of the people in town. And then go back out and do it.
So you just more or less try to keep majority in mind and go with it that way.
That's all you can do. That's the way to do it.
Okay, Mr. Huddleston, recently you just opened a time capsule, right?
That's right.
Okay, and you're getting ready to put in another one, which will be opened in the year 2000, 2001 or something?
No, it'll be almost year 3000.
Year 3000. Okay.
Not many of us will be around when this one's open.
No. Okay, so maybe can you tell us a little bit about the items you're going to place in this and the reasons for them?
Well, we'll place this tag here from the Pride Committee. And the Pride Committee has taken over and did a lot in just a short time they've been reorganized, I should say. We had the Pride Committee for several years, but they were more or less dormant. They didn't get active. And now they are active, and they're doing a wonderful job. And then I have a picture here of the new water tower that we're letting bids on. And I'll pass this around later for you people to see, but this will be the new water tower. And we're going from a 100,000 gallon tower to a 750,000 gallon tower. And this will be one of the big things that, big improvements in the city of Haysville. And then, of course, the Pride Committee, or the Fall Festival. And we have in here all of the pictures taken that day. We'll put this paper in there. And also on the Pioneer Days, we have the paper showing all the excerpts of the pictures of that they have. It's a newspaper.
Going to the Pioneer Days, what is Pioneer Days, first of all, and maybe can you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, Pioneer Days goes back to years ago. We had a celebration on the 4th of July celebrations in Haysville, and now they've changed it to what we call the Pioneer Days. And this is your 4th of July celebration. Everybody gathers at the park and then carries through that night. We have a name band and the 4th of July, and this has always been the biggest crowd that we have in Haysville up till the Fall Festival. And now the Fall Festival is drawing right with the Pioneer Days. And I might explain a little bit about the Fall Festival if you'd like to hear. We sat around drinking coffee one night after a meeting discussing this, and some of the people decided they thought a fall festival would be nice. And this fellow said, well, I can get people with old engines, and another said he'd get these people and these people together. And this was put together in less than 90 days the first year. Mm-hmm. And nobody knew really what we were doing. We just got together and done it. And after the first year, then things began to fall in place. They started forming committees and spreading their work out a little bit, where a few people didn't try to do it all. And you can see the results this last year at the meeting. So, and I think from the way things are going, we're going to have a better deal, or a better fall festival next year. Now we have some aerial shots here of the fall festival taken late the second day, which will go in a capsule. And this is one item that's going to grow, and why I say it's going to grow, they told us last night at the meeting that they gave $1,500 to two organizations. They gave $500 to the library, $300 to the Pride Committee for Christmas lights, which we've never had before. And this is something the Pride Committee has worked very hard on. And we've set up a 5-year goal. At the end of 5 years, I think we'll have enough lights to go up and down Grand and then across and go to Main to 63rd. And I think this will be pretty good if we can work this out in 5-year span. So what I'm trying to tell you that the Lions Club, the Optimist Club, the Business Professional Women, all of them are coming through, and you can't imagine how much they have contributed to the city. And also the Fall Festival Committee enlarged the bandstand so that you can get a whole band on the bandstand now. Before it was so small that you couldn't hardly use a bandstand for any entertainment. Mm-hmm. And now they've enlarged that, and each year the Lions Club's figuring on building a new shelter house. The Optimist Club's going to build a new brick sign, a lighted sign in front of the city building. And the Chamber of Commerce are working very hard to bring new industry and things in here. Altogether, everybody's put out all the effort in the world to make this town go.
Mr. Huddleston, the Fall Festival was outstanding this year, and we commend you and all of the people that worked with that. And it was very obvious that a lot of preparation was needed to get the Fall Festival underway. Would you tell us exactly some of the things that went on at the Fall Festival for those who maybe didn't get a chance to take part in any of that?
We had the crafts, and then we had what we call the commercial. And one of them was located at one end of the park and one of them at the other. And then you had the old cars, the antiques, and you had the old antique engines. And we had things going on, and the campus band came over and played. And at different times during the day, we had little programs going on. And this is the first time the campus band has been really active in one of our programs in a long time. We was really happy to see this, and we hope to see more of it in the future.
How would you compare this year's Fall Festival to last year's Fall Festival?
Oh, double or more. They were a little more organized. Last year they didn't know just what they were doing. They were putting on the show, but they didn't have a director. And this year, everybody, they formed committees, they got organized, and they put it on like it should have been put on. And everybody that came, and all the distributors and the people that came said they'd be back next year, and they really enjoyed coming to Haysville. And I think whenever we talk about this, you've got two things in town that has turned our town around. One of them is our newspaper. We have a newspaper that works for the city and works for the people in the city. We have a radio station that goes all out in advertising and working for Haysville. They have a full-time person in Haysville, and same as the newspaper. And they have worked. They've spent hours and hours. And you know the publicity there is all good anymore. We don't have that bad publicity we used to have.
Mr. Mayor, there's new talk of a mortuary maybe in Haysville. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, it really isn't in Haysville yet, but they're getting ready for it. And it'll be Smith's Mortuary. And of course, I think most of us are acquainted with it. And they also have one more at Derby. And they're taking over the church down on Broadway, and this will be their mortuary and where they'll hold their services at. And this is another addition. We have the new restaurant. We have several small businesses that have come in. We have several looking to the city. I was approached the other day. Some people want to build some nice apartments up on Meridian. And things of this sort. We're getting more interest. We're also working on an entrance to the Turnpike. And I say we, that means all the organizations, the council, and myself. Everybody involved is working on this, and we would like to see that. And I think this would help the city immensely.
Okay, Del Marcal just recently set up a new restaurant. Most of us know about it, called the Colonial Inn. Would you like to tell us a little bit about what went into setting up a restaurant like this, or any sort of business for that matter?
Well, if you buy land, of course, the first thing you do is come to the zoning. And you can see that it's zoned right. Then you get it platted. And then from then on you get your contractors and putting the building up. They have their inspections, they build their building, and then when the building's completed, why, they buy the city license and they're in business. And this is what Delmer, the steps he went through, and some of them was new to him, and he thought maybe sometimes he was being held up, but this is the due process we all have to go through. And government anymore isn't like it used to be. You don't come down and say, I would like to do this and I'd like to do that, and just go out and council say, okay, and they go out and do it. There are certain criteria that people have to meet, yes. And this makes it rough at times. The people get mad at the council, they get mad at the mayor, they get mad at the planning commission. But actually, a lot of these laws are handed down by the federal government, passed on down to the state, and then it comes down to the county and back to us. and we have to do these things, whether we want to or whether we don't.
Okay, getting back to the water tower question, we've gone from 100,000 gallons to 750,000 gallons. That's about 7 times its normal capacity. Why this sudden increase?
Well, it's increase that we have needed. Now, it's not, you're not going to have that much all at once because we're under right now what we should be. And as I told you in the other room, I've been working on this water situation since back around 1960. Mm-hmm. And it's beginning to, as the old saying goes, it's beginning to gel now. And to have a town of what we're figuring on and to have the growth that we're figuring on, you have to be able to supply the water. And right now we have places in town that don't have adequate sized pipes even to fight a fire. Mm-hmm. So our first step is to build a water tower. And we're going to put in the pumps in the tower, underneath the tower, and also standby systems. So like here a while back, if you remember, the electric went off, and for almost a day was out of water, see? And the phones rang off the wall down the city building, I'll tell you. So whenever the electric goes off, the standby equipment will come on and the pumps will keep running and you'll still have water. And this is also good for fighting fires, for taking baths and household needs. And these are the things that progress makes, and as the city grows, you have to have these things to do it, to operate.
Well, that's good. What has been the growth pattern of Haysville in the last couple of years, and how much do you expect it to grow in the future?
Well, the growth pattern hasn't been what I'd like to see. Of course, we have a few businesses moving in, which looks good, but we have some larger businesses asking questions, looking this way. And I think by spring, I think you're going to see quite a few things pick up around Haysville.
Okay, although Haysville hasn't grown as much as you'd like it to have by now, we must admit that it has grown a considerable amount in the past years. You mentioned some organizations that are perhaps responsible for this, the Lions Club, and a lot of others. There's so many, you just can't name them all.
That's right.
But as Haysville is growing more and more every year, do you ever think there's a possibility that because Wichita is growing too, that the two will annex?
No. See, Haysville is a city of second class, and Wichita couldn't annex them if they wanted to. The only way that we would ever go into Wichita is for the people to vote to go into Wichita.
Let me interrupt. What do you mean by second class?
Well, in cities you have what you call first, second, and third class, and that's determined by the size of the city, by the population. First class has to be over 10,000, second class up to 10,000, and over. It's all up to you whether you ask to go first class or however. And then third class is a smaller population.
I see.
And I doubt very much if the people will ever do this. Now, getting back to the water tower, we have some more. We want to loop some lines. We have some things in to replace some lines in the second phase of this. But right now we're going with the tower and that. And this should increase the water pressure. If you remember, people that live up, well, we'll say up above Hungerford, have trouble getting water pressure. Especially when people are using a lot of water, they have the troubles. Well, this will cure that trouble.
Okay, I have two final questions. First of all, what are you trying to do so far to make more people come to Haysville and make it a happier place to live?
Well, first you have to, the people in Haysville has to welcome these people. And the second is you've got to give them services like utilities and streets and things of this sort. And we have started a 5-year program last year on the streets, and this next year will be the third. And then the next year we have government monies to take up East Grand from the tracks on the east, coming in to take that up and relay it for a new street. And I think your utilities, your police department, mostly your schools, everybody I talk to, first thing they ask me about is the schools. And I'm happy to say I can give a good recommendation.
Okay, and second of all, do you have any long-term goals you would like to accomplish in the future?
I don't know whether I should tell you this or not. It isn't generally known, but yes, I'd like to have a community building for the city of Haysville. I think we're getting big enough, and I think it's the people are demanding enough things going on that we need not a community hall, but a place that we can go and not ask to have the schools for everything. You know, the people's kind of wore the schools out on asking for the uses and things. And I think we should have a building in town where you can meet, have several meeting rooms where different groups can meet, and also a big ballroom type thing where you have basketball games, plays, whatever you wanted without... And I'm not talking about something small. I doubt if we have any school that has one big enough outside maybe the auditorium here, the gym here at the high school. That's about what I'm talking about, something that you can get several people in, a lot of people in.
Mr. Huddleston, when you won your campaign for mayor, there must have been some key success to your winning. And you've also been in office for a long time. You know, you're staying in office. What do you feel it is that is successful about yourself that's keeping you in office, keeping you as mayor?
Well, I think the first thing is I look down the line a few years. I want to see the town grow. I want to see things happen. And the second thing is I know that you have to keep your utilities up, your streets up, and things of this sort. And if you'll notice, the boys went by and cut all the grass away from the curb. Now, this is one of the things I really got to, I was a little disgusted with, because you have to show some pride in your city, and these are the things that I like to see. And without these things, you don't see the city grow. It looks like
a lot of times it's
out our way. You know, you remember that cartoon, Out Our Way? Well, to me, this is what the city becomes if you're not interested in these things. And I have tried to keep the city employees alert to these things and working toward a better city and keeping things looking nice in the city.
Okay, Mr. Huddleston, for my last question, of all the years that you've been mayor now, what do you see has been your biggest challenge?
I've had a lot of them. Whenever you've been mayor this long and you've had so many things that were important, such as, well, we'll say the sewer plants and sewer lines, and now the water, and then, of course, the highways. And I might tell you at this time that I've been informed that North Main Street will be 4-laned from 63rd Street on down to 55th Street, which is the city limits of Haysville this summer. So that'll be another step. And of course the highway, we worked on that even when John Trout was mayor. We started working on that. And I think the challenges has been many, and I'd hate to say which is the best, the biggest, yes, because they've all been a challenge.
Well, Mr. Huddleston, we certainly think you've done a great job while you've been in office, and we would like to wish you your continued success as long as you're mayor of Haysville. We'd like to thank you for joining us in our studio today, and we'd like to thank you for tuning in to Kolt TV. I'm Cindy Zimmerman, your hostess, along with Jeff Graves and Mayor Huddleston from Haysville.